It was asked, what is the significance of a Dhuni? Actually, Ma Yoga Ratna asked me, what is the meaning of a Dhuni? Can you describe what a Dhuni means? Now to start with, we will look at the physical aspects. Just like from Hatha Yoga, you go on to the deeper yogas. So, first you start with the physical, because we deal with the body first. If the body is not healthy and sound, you cannot go to the inner. It's not possible. So, we start with the outer, which is the external Dhuni. Then I will try and describe what the internal Dhuni is. The external Dhuni is a custom which has been for hundreds of years, maybe thousands, adopted by many wandering spiritual seekers as well as teachers, especially among the Naths and the Nagas. Now a Naga could be a Nath, he could be a non-Nath, he could be a Dashanami. He's called a Naga because he's Nanga. So it could be anything. There are Nagas from all Sampradayas, except maybe not Bairagi Nagas, I'm not so sure, which is the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Now, when they sit in a place, and as far as the Naths are concerned, it is a permanent part of their paraphernalia. Wherever they go, they light a Dhuni. Dhuni basically is what you see. Just a small pit in which firewood is put and it's kept burning. Usually they carry it wherever they go and fix it. Since this unfortunate Nath cannot do that, because he can't carry this to Madanapalli and fix a Dhuni, and nobody will look after it there anyway. So we leave it at that. So wherever we go, when it is possible, we write a Dhuni. And what is the central thing in a Dhuni? What do you see? Will you call it a Dhuni if there was no fire? No. So fire is the central point of the Dhuni. If you look carefully, you will see that many who don't call themselves Naths, but who are recognized as Naths by the Naths, also had their Dhuni, including the most illustrious among them that we know of. Whenever, from the time Shirdi Sai Baba settled down in Shirdi, he used to light a Dhuni. And among the Naths, he is known as Sai Nath. And that Dhuni is still kept burning. Now, physical significance is, when in those days sadhus, yogis, they lived in the forests, in caves. They did not live in houses, most of them at least. So, a fire is such an important thing. Today we don't feel the importance of fire because you have a matchbox. You can light it and it's on. And you put kerosene oil or something and it starts. But in ancient times, lighting a fire itself was such a difficult process. You had to take a piece of wood and then light it by rubbing a dry piece of wood into it till the spark flies and the fire comes out, and then quickly it should be gathered together and made bigger. Now, since ancient times, the Upanishads and the Vedas have likened the coming of the fire from a dry stick when churned with another stick as the lighting of the spiritual fire. And it requires a dry stick. 2 dry sticks are required. Any sticks which are too soaked with whiskey, too soaked with various things, you will see that anything that you are likely to get caught with are usually in liquid form. So when all these liquids have been dried, in fact, Goraksha Shataka uses that expression. Through constant pranayam, when all the liquids of the body are dried. Now, therefore you have, which means when all the negative qualities have been removed, which is why again water is used to wash off. And when the water that has been washed off is also dried, no more wet, then such a dry piece of wood, two pieces, when they are rubbed together, there is a spark. I am talking about the olden days before matchsticks were invented. Therefore, when the mind has been made absolutely clear and dry and contains no wetness in it, when such a mind meets another mind who is like that, and when that mind rubs, then from that churning, a spark comes out. So, since ancient times the rishis have asked, where was this fire before it came out? And the answer was, it was inside, but it has been made to manifest through the churning. So, physically, this is used when the sadhus travel and live in caves, first as a means of protecting the body from extreme climates. Second, it's also in the same dhuni that chapatis are made. I have travelled with the Nagas. The tea kettle also, when we go for a visit in some of the Akka, you will see that there is a permanent tea kettle sitting on that. So it serves to protect you, it serves for your food. It also in the night serves to protect you from wild animals. There's a firelit, wild animals generally do not come. That is the physical part. The psychological part is, as I said, the inner spark is ignited by the teacher, and the dhuni is a symbol of that. Now when I say symbol of that, it doesn't mean it's merely a symbol. Among the Nats, there is a particular meditation called the Agni meditation, where you sit before the dhuni. I have done this sitting with Babaji. Unfortunately, I don't think I have that capacity, but because when he wanted the flame went up, or when he wanted it came down. So I have sat with him face to face and looking at the fire. It's one of the most beautiful, especially at night, to meditate on the flame. And I was taught to completely open your eyes and watch the flame, and then to close your eyes and visualize it inside. It's one of the most beautiful. It actually burns off many of the leftovers from our past. Just as physically, it's a symbol of the burning away of all desires. That only fire can do. You can't wash away all desires with water, but fire can burn away everything. And it also keeps you constantly exposed to the fact that this is the end that we are all going to come to. Nobody can say, no, we won't. Of course, you can go into an electric crematorium. It is the same thing, ashes. So, that is a constant reminder. When you watch the fire, you see how beautifully the flames come and how warm and nice it is, and how all that is fine. But you see also that the wood is constantly burning. You can't keep the same wood. Tomorrow you have to, it's gone and it has become ashes. So this also illustrates time as it moves, which doesn't leave anybody. Babaji used to tell me, when you eat food, remember that time is eating you. No one can stop it. Few years ago, you look different in the mirror. Then again you look, suddenly you begin to see some wrinkles are coming. See, so time cannot stop. It moves. And it burns everything, including us, into ashes, which is why Shiva is always depicted with ashes all over his body, which he takes from the cremation grounds and puts it on. The Nats always take ashes from the dhuni, and in public at least. In private they have their own way, but in public they take it and apply it on themselves. It's also a great protection against the cold. You see the Naga Babas, the Nangas, they always completely cover their body with ashes. It's a wonderful protection against the cold. It also shows that I am from such and such a party that believes that we are all going to be reduced to ashes. So I don't want anything, I just give me a little food, that's more than enough. So these are some of the significances of the Dhuni. Now, fire is much deeper. You see, it's a great symbol of the spirit. And I personally feel, you want to believe it or not, I don't care. I believe that fire has a life of its own when it is lit. It's not just a fire which is an inanimate object. It has a life of its own which relates to you in a certain way when you sit for long periods before a Dhuni and meditate. It helps to light the inner fire if you meditate on the outer fire. So, this is the important thing about the Dhuni. Fire as a symbol of the spirit. You light fire in any object, anything, the fire always burns up. It does not burn down. You can hold your fuel as down as possible, but the fire will always burn up. So which means the spirit, however it descends to the earth, it still has an aspiration to go back upwards. So this is also a symbol of the Kundalini fire that burns inside and through deep meditation lifts your consciousness to the higher realms. Fire always has been a symbol of desire. What kind of desire, of course, has to be decided by the human being. Desire is a flame. Some people say we are consumed by the fire, or fairy zeal. Even anger is a kind of fire. All emotions at their height are fire. Suppose you see someone whom you were in love with you in college, what do you say? My old flame. You don't say my old water. This is not possible. So that flame, the igniting of that desire inside, is exactly the symbol of the Dhuni. And for that it requires fire. Any desire that is ignited will burn out what has been offered as fuel into it. So in the Dhuni you offer the wood. These are some of the symbols of the fire. So the Agni that you find inside the Dhuni is a symbol of all that we discuss now, plus the practical aspect that when there is a Dhuni, there is no image there. There's a fire. And yet, most people's attention is automatically concentrated out there. Because everybody knows that fire where it stays is fine, but it is also quite dangerous. It can burn down the whole world. You see, if you light one flame or one candle, it's enough to bring down the complete forest if used in the proper or improper manner. So again, it's a very potent tool. But for sadhaks, the most important thing to understand is to light the inner fire that consumes all other thoughts other than the reaching of perfection. That is the central meaning of fire. And unless it is a fire, it's not going to work. Unless your enthusiasm is fired by it, you cannot water your enthusiasm. It will not work. So it also shows that everybody cannot aim for it unless one has decided that all is well and fine, but now this is enough and I have to move forward. Without that basic notion, sadhana doesn't work. It's not like fructis shampoo. It washes like shampoo and protects like oil. Here you are either protected or you are washed. You can't be both.